All right, Hollywood. Hollywood, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in South Central.
Tell me about your family.
9 kids, pretty traditional Mexican family. I was the first to make it to a major university, and the first one to become addicted, and the first one to pick up some felonies.
How did you end up on that path?
I had an older brother that, as a kid, I followed him around. You could say I learned all my bad habits from him. And when everyone else had abandoned him to his addiction, I was driving around South Central to all the different motels looking for him. And then one day, I was on my way to a club, so I was pretty drunk. And I wanted to see what it was all about, and I took a blast. And that's when my life as an addict began. And I've been getting high ever since.
What was your drug?
Cocaine, free base. Then after about a 5-year stint with cocaine, I stopped for about 10 years, and then I started again when I moved out to Philadelphia. And then from there I moved to Miami, which got pretty crazy because Miami's even, almost everything's legal in Miami. Then I came back and I started using crystal meth because I thought I could function better with it. And after a few years, about 5 years, after pretty much losing everything I had worked for, I thought I'd get off it, so I started to smoke cocaine because they say sometimes if you do one drug, it breaks you off another.
That's right.
And it worked for the most part, except now I'm stuck smoking cocaine.
Crack?
Yes.
Yeah. What's a harder addiction to deal with, crystal meth or crack?
I think crystal meth has the advantage of you being able to function on it. So the disadvantage is you'll do it a lot longer because you can go undetected sometimes. Crack cocaine, it hits you pretty, at least me, right? You can get paranoid, it's more expensive. That's when you run around selling everything you have. Some people resort to stealing. I never did, but it's definitely a better high.
Impossible to keep a job?
It's pretty hard. I mean, I consider crack cocaine a real drug. Crystal meth is like weed or alcohol. I mean, I really don't understand how anybody could be out here just on that. Crack cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, those are real drugs.
You have kids?
No,
No kids?
no kids.
How old are you?
55.
55. You look good for 55.
Thank you. I guess that's part of, being undercover.
What does your family think of your life path?
They pretty much broke all associations with me, my dad, including my father. So I was out here pretty much for maybe 2 months, just living in the car or occasionally sleeping in the tent. I ended up wrecking 2 cars while I was out here and ruining a third. And the brother who initially exposed me to hard drugs opened his door for me. I didn't ask him to, but he insisted, so I went over there. And for about 6 weeks, I think I did pretty good, but obviously I'm back here now.
You guys have a special connection?
Yeah. I mean, he won't tell the family if I have a relapse.
Is he still using?
He still uses. He's, I guess, what they call a chronic relapser, whatever that means. But as far as I'm concerned, you either use or you don't. Right now,
Are you homeless now?
Well, this is my last week with him, so I will be as of Sunday night. And so I gotta right now. I'm trying to make some money to get a car so I can live in there.
You look pretty put together for a guy who's homeless.
Well, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. I've been pretty successful in the industry that I've been a part of. I consider myself a master salesman, and it's part of my appeal.
What kind of jobs have you had?
Sales and marketing, working different industries, but that's getting somebody to sign on the dotted line. That's my specialty.
What's your biggest regret?
I don't know if I have any regrets. I think that there's a lot of beauty out here. I mean, I fell in love out here. If you ever want to self-annihilate, fall in love on Skid Row, because it's pretty impossible.
Tell me about that. You met a girl?
Yeah, I met several girls out here. I think all of them are beautiful, intelligent, unique. I mean, brave, bold, creative. But this one, you know, was different to me. And she inspired me to write. You know, writing is what I do. And if a woman can inspire me to write, then that's about as special as it gets.
Is there something about broken birds that appeals to you?
Maybe, I know the expression, Captain Save a Hole. I mean, I don't know if that's me, but there is something about individuals who I think have incredible potential that aren't realizing it, that deserve some extra support. They don't ask for it, right? No one's ever asked me for any extra support or any help. So I don't feel like as if anyone's obligated to me for anything, because it's, I give it freely. And I think they appreciate it, but who knows? I mean,
I've seen people whose partners have addiction problems and they're lost, and everyone's just saying, just dump her, just get rid of her. And then miraculously, somehow she gets clean. And the guy dumps the girl because he wants a broken bird.
yeah, I don't think I do. I mean, I've been out here for a few years now, off and on. I mean, this is the only social life I have is right here on Skid Row. And, but I think if a broken bird, wanted to fly again, I would take off with it.
Emotionally, what do you go through living this life?
It's easy to ask why. It's easy to get down at times and wonder, what could have been or the consequences of my actions. And I mean, obviously, I lost quite a bit being out here. And definitely the respect of all my family and friends. And so, depending on my mood, that can matter quite a bit. I could feel, devastated, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel empowered by being out here, by associating with people that I think have a lot to offer. And, I personally think that Skid Row is a place of incredibly untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be one of the most successful communities in Southern California. There's that much talent and intellect out here.
A lot of these people have a hard time applying that talent, though, making it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I guess if you say I have a dream, right, would be to open up some sort of business like on the floor above this room, and anybody who wants to work, and
You'll have a short line.
yeah. Here's one thing I believe. I believe that many people out here would kick their habit if they had the kind of support required. And a rehab home isn't going to cut it. And neither is whatever you get from GR. They would need it would take some deep pockets.
Yeah.
Because they would have to be able to, first off, use to their heart's content until they realize that they're missing out on a lot that is being offered. And then, who knows, maybe pick up an addiction like shopping or something. And then, just stay busy. Because if you stay busy, then you start realizing that, hey, I didn't have to get high all day. I did get high for half the day or, when night hit, but you start to accept that you can have a different kind of life. Just to give you an idea, this individual, like many who smoke fatty, right, start nodding off. Used to nod off every day, right? And then one week, I was like, do you realize you haven't nodded off in days? And they were like, wow, you're right. Because we were busy doing things. So I know that could have increased and that could have evolved into something.
If you give them some mission, something.
At the end of the day, I guess we weren't a good match. I don't think it had anything to do with her not being not willing to kick a habit.
The problem is also very often in childhood, there's traumas that they're carrying with them that aren't just going to erase
Yes, I mean,
by getting a job.
I certainly have childhood trauma. I mean, I didn't realize that until recently, but
What did you realize?
that some of the things that happened to me as a child have stayed with me. I mean, that's why I have a big problem with commitment. That's why, I mean, you won't find too many people my age with my background that is not married and do not have children. I mean, it's pretty shocking, actually. Most people don't believe it, but it's the truth. And the truth is, I mean, I was married for 2 or 3 years, and just that fear of commitment kept me away from fathering a child. In the back of my mind, I knew I didn't want to be in that relationship. So I know that sounds kind of tragic and kind of, maybe even mean, but I just follow my heart. And I have a feeling that there's a woman out there that I'll fall in love with and want a baby with her the first day I meet her. So I'll keep looking. Actually, I'm not really looking, but I'm open to it.
You're open to it.
Yeah.
What's your biggest fear now?
Not fulfilling my potential, and in my opinion, that includes incorporating this experience out here. I think, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that I'm a better person by my experience out here. I'm a cradle Catholic. I tried, at different times living a spiritual life, but there are always barriers in embracing all of society. But after my experience out here, I don't see any difference between anyone sleeping in a tent or on the floor and somebody living in a high rise. So I think it makes me a better Catholic. So I'm trying to get back on that path now. And I feel a lot more equipped. I feel more spiritually enlightened.
What would you say is your greatest strength?
My communication skills, and I can be pretty charming.
You're a salesman.
I'm a salesman.
What's been your lowest point in your life?
Probably being in jail. It's a pretty messed up place to be. You're having your freedom taken away from you. It's pretty maddening, if you ask me. You can't do anything. Literally at the mercy of the state. As long as I'm out here, I'm free to exercise my will, do whatever I want. I could stay here or leave.
Does the possibility of spending more time in jail for something you did keep you walking a straighter path?
No, I'm pretty good about avoiding scenarios where I think I might get arrested. So I have to be careful about who I hang out with, because some people are pretty reckless and don't care. But I have to worry about that because I still have one foot, so to speak, in the professional world, I guess you could say, or the conservative world.
Square world?
Yeah, normies, right? And if I were to get popped for something like, being out here, I stand to lose everything, and I can't afford that.
Where'd you like to be in 5 years?
I don't know, maybe occupy the whole floor in some building and here down in Skid Row, and make it a luxury suite and have the doors open to anybody who wants to come in, who wants to make money. And if they want
Interesting
help,
idea.
yeah, I think it would be awesome. I think that there's a lot of people out there who would contribute, who would help, who would be excited about something like this.
Yeah, there's a few that would actually go for it.
I'm sorry?
There's a few people that would actually benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot that would just avoid it.
I mean, bottom line is this: anybody out here needs to get the equivalent of a job making like $50,000-$60,000 a year. If they don't get that, forget it. Something giving them $24,000 a year is not going to cut it. They're going to end up getting high. They got to make more money than they've ever made, and want to keep it. And
the cost of living is so high, especially here in LA. And I see what people are going through and what they're dealing with, and the hustles that they're doing. I see how the cost of living, which is great, is a huge factor in all of these problems. it's just impossible to keep a roof over your head or to keep food on the table. So
Right.
people will take to these hustles that'll put them in trouble, lead to drug use, all that stuff.
I think what most people out here are looking for is really an opportunity. Less than support, an opportunity, because support is limited. And support often comes with a lot of rules and regulations, and you lose some of your freedom, and it's not really an opportunity, it's just support. So this would be, opportunity means that they can, rise as high as possible. And this is America, right? And there's so many ways to make money. There's so many ways to thrive in this society. And I think that I just think that there is the possibility for someone to step forward and do something that can be transformative. That's the word. Support doesn't transform you. An opportunity can transform you.
That's a great point. You just got to deal with that cost of living issue.
Wow. It'll be like Para los Niños, that spot over there?
Which one?
Para los Niños by the guy who ran for mayor.
Oh, right. I've seen it.
Yeah, it'll be like Para los Niños for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Para los adultos. Or para los adictos, I don't know.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life, Hollywood?
2 lessons I learned, and this girl taught them to me. The first one is not to compare myself to anybody. I realized how wrong that is now. And the second one is never to jest at someone's expense, I always thought I was pretty witty. And then I realized that almost every joke I made was at someone's expense. It was witty. Maybe there was no foul language, but at the end of the day, I was belittling someone. And I realized all it was the shit talking I learned growing up, in the streets, morphed into into educated lines. But it was the same BS. I was, just making fun of somebody. So I don't do that no more. So I probably won't make too many people laugh anymore. But I feel better about it.
All right. Hollywood, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Wish you lots of luck from here on.
Peace.